What's up, world? It's the Javelin Breakdown. We're here in New Jersey with Coach Tim with South Jersey Javelin Academy and a few others getting after a training. So we just wrapped up. So take a look at some clips and some of the things we worked on today.
Yeah! Let's go! Come on! Let's go! Yeah!
What's up, world? Down here in the corner just offering some commentary throughout. So I had a really great session in New Jersey with Tim and his crew. And so I'll just talk through, some of the things throughout the video and let Tim talk as well and just kind of hear what he said in the moment and expand upon it and how I was thinking through different things. So we warmed up on the runway and did some ball throws there, both right and left side, making sure we balanced things out. And then we got into some picking, so I'll let Tim talk.
In the middle of soccer season. So the first one is just right behind the ear essentially.
Yeah, so these short picks, having the arm right next to the head, just finishing the throw. And so turning over the hand for me. Had to be extremely patient. It was a unique challenge. I haven't done something like that before.
In the end, like again, at full speed, that's essentially what you're doing. Is your body, what you've done on the runway, and then what your body is doing to hold the positions and then transfer the energy from the ground up from the block and then from the momentum on the runway. You just have to direct it into the jab. So think of like a bow and arrow. You don't draw back and push it, right? Yeah. The bow, the actual bow staff is holding that tension, so that's your block, and then drawing that bowstring back is essentially what you would do on the runway. So that's what's the push behind, and then you're holding it so the arrow is directed forward at the target where you want to go. It's a mild analogy for javelin throwing, but just for another visual as far as what actually happens.
Stay here still.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
so the bow analogy, I think that makes a lot of sense. The body, the block, those positions need to hold so that the right side for right-handed thrower then can work against that.
There you go. So that time you were a little here, okay, and then you wanted to bring it back. Yeah. So right from where it is laying in your hand, just straight out. So keep finding that target right out in front of you. Yep. So keep guiding it out. Out. Right at it. So it's still a little bit of like, you get here and then you're coming down. Yeah. So for you, keep that elbow up. It doesn't move. It's just me extending it here. And the other shoulder is a little more involved in this, that, and the other, but it makes you here, right in front. There you go. Even longer in front of you, Christian. Yep. Yep.
It was great to get to throw with TJ and Jimmy. Did breakdowns on both of them last spring, and I'm really excited that they're working with Tim this season. They're going to do really well. Both really good athletes. So Tim hasn't really been training too much, doing too much, just a lot of work, and yeah, he was crushing the 600 gram. It was awesome. He still has better range of motion in his shoulder than I do, and so it was, just awesome to see still his ability to lift the javelin with the body positions, and you'll see that later on the runway. It's just that muscle memory is still there. When the body does the work, it's just magic. You need to hold that left side and that left arm up, thumb down. You can hear me. Just fighting to maximize that stretch.
All of you Christian fans, he needs to block, then do the body, then do the stroke.
Yeah, so I have Tim's shirt here. So his thing, block, body, strike. I think it's a great analogy, and I've been throwing for a while, but it's the fundamentals, are still, what I need to be dialing in. I need to create that separation and block, and then let the body get into position further. And so, that that left side's here, and then because of the right foot and the right knee at block contact, the hip can move and the chest can move, setting the shoulder, big stretch, and then react to that strike. And so you need those things to happen in sequence. And the fact that we were really working, through the pick positions with the targets as reference, and dialing in our flights, that controllable intensity where you can really be picky and fine tune, that's so key. And it's way more fun to just go out and smash throws, but that's no way to develop technique. And you need to work at those controllable intensities where you can be pushing to make those technical gains and then build upon that throughout the year, so that when you get to those higher intensities in the spring, your body can sometimes hit the technique and most of the time be close, and then every once in a while you hit a real big one. So you got to build that proficiency. So we got on the runway then and did some walking stuff, and then moving into a 3-step, and same thing, it's just my body.
So stay as flat as you can, stay nice and flat, and then once you get in, you'll get up underneath and drive.
Yeah, so compensating for my shoulder, dropping the jab and getting ahead to try to catch that stretch instead of just waiting and waiting and waiting.
There we go.
That one was better.
Bad.
Closer.
Yep. Still would like to see you start that pull flatter.
Yeah. So I'm dropping.
Yeah.
Still.
And so on the ones that I, connected better, I had more, that's TJ there. I had more separation, but my body still midway through the movement sort of jerks, and it's not able to be really seamless. And so I'll work through a clip here. And so if I kind of frame by frame it, I pull off of my left and I land on that right there. And so I'm underneath the hip, which is good, but probably needed a little more height in my penultimate because my block foot is not quite there. And then coming into the block, my right arm's creeping in a little bit, and I think my left arm should be higher. I think my left shoulder's my sort of chest is at a good point, but I'd like to see my left arm higher and extended up a bit more, and then it's going to come down to my side. And so my block bends a little bit through here, but this getting under the throw, rolling under the throw through here is pretty good, and my elbow and hand behind the ear, that for me, that's really good. But it's still just not quite seamless. The block should hit and hold perfectly. This is what I'm striving for. The block should hit and hold perfectly, and then that chest gets square immediately, and the armpit is in the direction of the throw, and that elbow and that hand just are so far back for that maximum length of pull. And so even as I'm getting through this position, this whole thing comes up, and so I lose length of pull. So these are all variables that I'm fighting against. But these are some of the best technical. From a technical perspective, I think some of the better positions that I've gotten into in the last couple of years as I've gotten stronger and bulkier. And so really, really pleased with the progress. And Tim's perspective, he's so experienced. That made a big difference. Yeah, so just looking at this throw again, just letting it play through. So I hit and it's just not quite super fluid through everything, but it's getting there. Wish I had a side angle of that. That might have been my best one of the day.
Yeah, so that I think is the perfect example of when it's too low. You're going this way, jabs like this. So it got out, and then it just hung out up there for a second.
Yeah, I think I had my jab dropped to my hand, but in terms of stretch, that just felt. I remember that throw felt really good. That one got high too quick, I think.
We're kind of.
Yeah, no.
I felt it.
I was going to say, you made the adjustment, but again, it's also not where you're not used to throwing.
Right.
So it's like that's where you saw the other one.
Oh, come on.
So that last one, I just skied that. That was.
The one before was good. It's getting there.
So a really great session. So I really appreciate Tim letting me come out and train with the group. So if you're not familiar, South Jersey Javelin Academy on Instagram, check them out. If you can get to whether you're in New Jersey or PA, if you're willing to make the drive, it's going to be worth your time. Tim, extremely experienced thrower. He threw over 79 a few times, 78, 77. I mean, really, really high level thrower. And his ability to articulate things, he did a really good job in our session. And his ability to talk to me, I'm more experienced than TJ and Jimmy. They're in high school, and so how he approached addressing things with me was different than them, and like vocabulary wise, he was just really on point with things. And if you're not super well versed in sports history, there's definitely plenty of examples of people who are really good at playing their sport, but then they coached and they didn't do so well. And so I'd been to a few clinics where Tim was at in competitions, and knew he was a great guy, but getting to actually be coached by him for 2 hours or so and interact with him, he just did a really, really great job. So again, appreciate being able to go out and work with him and TJ and Jimmy, and just highly recommend, if you can get out there and train with him, or if you're local, go to Tim. You want to throw far, he's the man. So South Jersey Javelin Academy on Instagram. Check it out. Thanks for tuning in. And if you enjoyed me breaking down my throws, I think I'd like to do more of this where I commentate over my throws and point things out and whatnot. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this. Until next time, keep training hard, and I'll see you in the spring.